This is Officer Williams. I know very little about Officer Williams. I asked her my questions, and I've had a few interactions with her to my recollection, where I engaged her in conversation. I mainly spoke with her about topics such as Constitution, rights, current state of the nation, etc. I got a few gut feelings from Officer Williams that I'll share. 1. She seems earnest or honest. 2. She didn't seem like a tyrant. 3. She wasn't afraid to answer questions nor engage in conversation, and not once did she give me the sense that she was being deflective, nor unaccountable, nor lying. I think she is who she is, and she has no issue saying who she is, and to me, that's respectable. You know what other feeling I did get from her? That she treats fellow human beings with the same respect she wants to be treated with. As always, you may come to your own conclusions and opinions about all of it. I've shared mine. On to the video. Oh, wait. I've got some comments about the subject of alleged public servants whom refuse to voice their having taken an oath, or their refusal to violate their alleged oath at the end. Now you guys be sure to stop at the end if you're going to whine, so I don't have to waste my time dismissing you from the channel because of your mistaken belief I give a shit about your dislike of my opinions or my videos that you chose to watch and listen to. I appreciate your cooperation in this matter. Moving on. Officer! How you doing today? Good. Can I get your name and badge number, please?
It's Officer Williams, Unit 11.
Okay. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Hey, do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I do.
You do? Let me ask you one more question then.
Sure.
And then I'll leave you to your business. If you were ordered, contrary to that Constitution that you claim that you have a duty to uphold and defend, to go door to door or person to person and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens for no other reason than somebody in the government decided that we the people shouldn't be allowed to defend ourselves anymore, and they wanted our firearms, would you comply with that unconstitutional order?
Why would I do that?
Quick note here. I know what she's getting at. I understand what she's trying to say. But the answer is simple. Because some of them would. That's it. Moving on. Some officers...
The Constitution, correct?
That's correct, ma'am. So you're saying no, you would not?
No, I would not.
I appreciate that. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
Thank you, ma'am. I wanted to address a few things regarding this deputy. I've recently had some conversations with some people whom were either defending his refusal to affirm he took an oath and what his oath was, or they were suggesting it doesn't matter if he can or will affirm he took an oath because we all know he took one. First off, bullshit. Moving on. I'll try to address each one individually, specifically, and then in general. I'll try to be brief. Don't hold your breath. 1. Defending an alleged public servant refusing to or being incapable of answering the question of, do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, end quote, is absolutely ignorant in my opinion, and I think people defending such are brainwashed sheep, and they need to re-examine the world around them. 2. If you are defending alleged public servants like this fuckstick right here, and that's what I'm going to call him until I know otherwise, shithead on the cob, refusing to acknowledge and affirm his oath and belief in his oath by saying it doesn't matter because we know he took an oath, then I think you're a fucking idiot. And part of the problem in this country. I consider it no different than a piece of oxygen-wasting camel shit like this alleged officer here, who points at his badge and name tag and tells you it's right here when you ask them to identify as a public servant. To me, it's nothing more or less than another passive-aggressive way for an alleged officer to say, I don't answer to you, sheep, without having to say it. To look at you and say, I'm a hero and you're nothing but a pesky fucking sheeple citizen, without having to say it. And now for my general beliefs. Thank you for riding along this long if you have. In general, if you can't or won't stand up, speak up, and claim what you are allegedly about, then I was always told you aren't about shit. I mean, I don't get on here and say I hate all cops, nor that I love all cops. I have gone out of my way to clearly state I believe there are good officers. I say what I believe. How much more should an alleged quote-unquote officer and or public servant be able to say, 1, I took an oath, 2, here's what that oath means to me, 3, I won't violate that oath. If they can't do that, then they should be treated just like they would treat us if we refuse to stand up for what's right. In my opinion, where we're at as a nation today, there's just not a gray area to this anymore. And the refusal to stand up, speak up, and claim ownership of support of what is right is exactly part of what has led us down the road to where we now find ourselves as a country. Look, maybe Coward on the Cob is some saint, some special miracle of an officer sent to us by someone's idea of God that believes in his oath and would never violate it. But if he doesn't have the courage of his alleged conviction to speak and admit to such, then who the fuck would believe he would act in accordance with his alleged beliefs? It's past time people stood up, spoke up, and let their actions reinforce their words. Cobb doesn't even have the words. So to me, I have no respect nor faith in his actions nor inactions regarding his alleged oath. The alleged officers I run into, like Cobb, regardless of some people defending their bullshit, I consider cowards, and believe that they are not worth the price of the metal their badges are made from. Further, I consider that it means jack shit what they may truly believe, because they lack the courage of their alleged conviction and honor to state it. And to me, if you can't say what you believe, then you can't expect anyone to believe what you say. And you certainly can't expect anyone to believe what you don't say. So fuck them and those like them. Someone told me Cobb is a great guy and a great officer. Well, whoop-de-fucking-d. Do you people think if someone went to Cobb and said, hey, psst, hey Cobb, that guy making the YouTube videos, he's a great guy who believes he has an oath to fellow human beings and U.S. citizens, and you can trust him. Do you honestly think if someone went to him with that, he'd be like, oh, well, fuck, God, yes, okay. Even though I don't know him, and he refuses to tell me that, I better believe it? You're a fucking idiot if you do. The world is a two-way street. The problem I see is that their side of the blue line wants it their way, and refuses to grant the same concessions to people on the other side. Seems to me, in my infinite ignorance, like a big pile of shit hypocrisy hidden behind a thick blue line. But what the fuck do I know, right? I also tend to think that many officers don't even mildly grasp the difference between the concepts of a private citizen and a public servant, and they can't seem to understand the many differences, requirements, and details between the two. And for the record, I'm about to give all the Sheriff's Department another chance to answer a non-specific question that absolutely will not violate their alleged policy prohibition. That question is simple. Would you comply with any order that would violate the constitutionally mentioned rights of a fellow citizen? I think it's pretty simple anyway, and I don't think it would violate their policy in any way, because it's not talking about specific possible future actions that the Sheriff's Department said they don't want officers or deputies answering. By the way, as a little side note here, if a department says we don't want deputies answering a question about whether they would violate the Second Amendment to go door to door and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens, and they state the reason for that is because there's a policy that prohibits them talking about potential future actions of that department, then they are in effect saying that a potential future action of that department is to, in fact, go door to door or person to person, violating the Second Amendment to confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens. I just wanted to throw that out there. But any deputy or officer who cannot answer that question, I'll call them as I see them, right there, on camera, on the spot, and dismiss their cowardly, worthless asses as they deserve to be dismissed.
They know you're coming.
Of course. But it won't matter.
My firm belief is that if you can't say it, you don't have the courage of your convictions. And if you can't say it, you most likely can't and won't act in accordance with it and with what you allegedly support and believe. Until such time as I can believe otherwise, I think I like the nickname Coward on the Cob. There. I'm all done here.
Some officers...
Constitution, correct?
That's correct, ma'am. So you're saying no, you would not?
No, I would not.